they're clearly serving a function, a useful function, a necessary function, but are not laborers. They're not touching the table. Okay? What are some other examples of manufacturing overhead? Not direct materials, not direct labor. David Roberts. Can you think of another? Where's David Roberts? David, how are you, sir? It didn't take me very long to get all the way to the R's. I mean, we haven't even been in class half an hour yet. I mean, by the end of 45 minutes, I might have talked to all of you already. With practice, you too can talk to large numbers of people in a short period of time. What were you? Can you think of some other examples? Or another example? You don't have to think of multiple, just one. What was the question? Oh, Taylor, do you remember the question?
Yeah.
What was the question, Taylor? What's another type of manufacturing overhead? David? You covered this before, or I did? Oh, another. Oh, surely. You've had principles of managerial accounting, have you not? Yes, it's a prerequisite, so I hope the answer is affirmative to that. Katie, can you think of another one?
Rent.
Rent on what? More specific.
On building.
That is being used to do what?
Oh, to produce it.
Yes, and so rent isn't a wrong answer, but it's not a right one quite yet. So rent on a building that is being used to produce the product. That is manufacturing overhead. What if it's rent on a building where the accountants are housed? Is that manufacturing overhead? No. No. Okay. Very good. And then Katie also said a second one. Nick, did you catch that? Where's Nick? Nick, Katie also said a second example. Did you catch it? You weren't paying attention. And she's sitting right behind you. And almost within smacking distance. Anybody else? Nathan, did you pay attention? Did you catch your second one? Rent on machines. Rent on machines that are being used to do what? Produce the product. How about rent on your computer as an accountant? No. Or more often it wouldn't be rent on a machine, or I guess I shouldn't say more often, but very often it wouldn't be rent on a machine, it would be depreciation on a machine. Okay? All sorts of examples of manufacturing overhead. So they're product costs, but not direct materials and not direct labor. And actually for the overwhelming majority of businesses, manufacturing overhead is the biggest of these, largest of these three categories from the perspective of dollars being spent. So that is that page. Have we filled it out completely? You have some notes there. Let's go to combinations of product costs on the next page. Prime costs. Yes, ma'am, Katie.
What would the building for the accountants fall under?
It's a period cost. Okay. So it's not one of those three categories whatsoever. It would be a period cost from the prior page. And the same with your salary as an accountant working for McDonald's. It would be a period cost. Okay. And so it wouldn't fall. These three categories are only for product costs. Okay. So we doing okay? Yes, sir.
So under this cost, where would you put your marketing people? Would they go under period costs? Or?
Where do you think? You should know by now. I mean, I've taught you enough to know. Where would the market? It would probably. Are they working on the table? Hi ho, it's off to work we go. And they work on the table?
No.
Okay, so it's not a product cost, so it doesn't go in any of these three categories. Right?
Yeah, so it'd be a period.
Must be a period cost because they're not working on the table. But I've learned, I mean, it's kind of corny, kind of silly. Why do I do this? To get your attention, but you know what? I've learned that you can associate, people will associate a sound with something that they have learned or experienced. And what did we learn about when I dropped the table? There are three categories of product costs. Direct materials, direct labor, manufacturing overhead. Okay? And so hopefully, some of you, and might find it helpful to associate that sound with that thought. And it'll help you remember that thought just a wee bit better. Hopefully. I try. Other questions, comments, concerns, random thoughts? Nobody? Ready to learn some new stuff? Prime costs. Anybody remember? Direct materials and direct labor, because veterans of my Principles of Managerial Accounting class should know. 1, 2, there's several veterans of my Principles of Managerial Accounting classes in here. They should know. Nathan, did you remember? Do you know what conversion costs are?
The cost it takes to get the product ready to ship out.
Conceptually, conversion costs are the cost to convert direct materials into a finished product, which is really close to what you just said. So, so conceptually, it's the cost to convert direct materials to a finished product. What is it calculationally? Jackie, do you remember? Direct labor plus manufacturing overhead. Okay, so prime costs are direct materials plus direct labor, and conversion costs are direct labor plus manufacturing overhead. But I can also ask this as a yes/no question. And where did I put cards? There we go. I can also ask it as a yes/no question. Carrie, is direct labor a prime cost? Yes or no?
Prime cost?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes. Tony Vogt. What?
Could you repeat those?
The equations, prime costs are direct materials plus direct labor. Conversion costs are direct labor plus manufacturing overhead. You're welcome. I know, am I talking fast? Just a little bit. Even by Dr. Fessler's standards, I feel like I'm talking fast. Tony, is direct labor a conversion cost?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Very good. Very good. Outstanding. Ausgezeichnet, as they would say in German. The next page, what is the most simple calculation of profit? Josh Waller, you have any idea about that? Where's Josh Waller? Yeah, he kind of perked up and didn't dodge. And so what would be the most simple way to calculate profit or income?
So you have revenue minus cost.
I'm going to say revenue minus expenses, but synonym for costs. So revenue minus expenses, or revenue minus cost, equals profit. You can write that down. I haven't really given you too much time to take advantage of the doodle worlds, have I? And let's look at the next page. Absorption costing income statement format. Absorption costing income statement format equals revenue minus cost of goods sold equals gross margin minus selling and administrative expenses equals operating income. Variable costing, we really don't have a Gesundheit for hiccups, do we? Revenue minus variable costs equals contribution margin minus fixed costs equals operating income. Balance sheet. So absorption costing income statement, this